And if we leverage both vendors in staggered intervals, we preserve pricing leverage across Q2 and Q3. I clicked to the next slide. 12 sets of eyes on the screen. Mark's on me. Thoughts? I asked. He smiled like a man easing into a stretch. Clean numbers, good polish. He looked at the others. And if Claire gets hit by a bus next week, someone else can walk this in. She's replaceable. Quiet. A few awkward chuckles. No one looked at me. I turned back to the screen. Slide 6 details the long-term contracts. Afterward, the room emptied with the usual shuffling. Mark stayed behind. Lounging by the whiteboard strong deck, he said, "They liked it, they liked my work," I said, slipping my laptop into my bag. He laughed. "Come on, don't get soft, you know what I meant." "No, say it again, just so I understand." He crossed his arms. Head tilted. "You're smart. But this machine keeps running without any one of us, including you. Then you should try doing your job without me for a week." "You think I don't?" "You don't." He stepped closer, just enough. "Careful, Claire, you're drifting into entitlement." "No," I said. "I'm just tired of carrying you." He blinked, smirked. "You know how this works, you shine, I present. That's how we move up." "You're already up, Mark. I'm just standing under your shadow." The smirk faded. "Don't make this about ego." "It's not." I slung my bag over my shoulder. "It's about spine." My office was still warm from morning light. I sat. Jasmine hovered in the doorway with a coffee. "You okay?" "Fine." She didn't leave. That thing Mark said was instructive. She looked at me. "Instructive?" "I finally understand where I stand." Her jaw worked. "You shouldn't have to prove you belong here." "I don't plan to anymore." Jasmine set the cup down. "You're not actually replaceable. You know." "I know." She paused. "Are you going to talk to him?" "I already did." "How'd that go?" I looked at her like he thought I'd thank him for the insult. Jasmine's mouth tightened. "Classic. He said it motivates people. Keeps them sharp." She scoffed. "He motivates like a gas leak." I smiled. Faintly. Not wrong. Mark called me in before lunch. His office smelled like cedar and ego. "Sit," he said. I'm standing. He looked up, still mad. "I'm not mad, right?" "You're what? Reflective, righteous, I'm clear." He leaned back. "Good. Then you'll understand this next part." I waited. "That pipeline model you pitched, I'm using it for the Singapore deck." "You mean repressed?" The apartment was dark when I got home. I didn't turn on the lights. Just dropped my bag on the kitchen counter and opened my laptop. One file, blank document. Top of the page. What I built. He started typing. Q1 forecast. Model. Mark presented to board. Vendor consolidation plan. His cross-departmental initiative. Product pricing restructure. He gave the credit to legal. Tokyo expansion strategy. He said it came from a global task force. List kept growing. Late night fix of investor pitch. Damage control with Nico Group saved his job after. Milani stared at that one for a long time. The knock on my door made me flinch. I opened it halfway. "Mark?" He leaned against the frame. "Casual. Didn't think you'd still be working." "What do you want?" He held up a bottle. "Peace offering. Cabernet. Old habits. I'm not drinking." "Then I'll drink for both of us." He stepped in without waiting. I closed the door behind him. "You're bold. You've always liked that." I used to think it was confidence. Now I know it's vacancy. Ouch. He unscrewed the bottle. "No glass. Just straight from the neck. We need to talk." "We did. You said I was replaceable. Then you took my work." He sat on the arm of the couch. "I didn't take anything. You built it on company time, with my strategy, my execution." He shrugged. "That's what being on a team means." "No, Mark. That's what theft in a tailored suit looks like." He smiled. "You're pissed." "No." I turned the screen toward him. "I'm keeping score." He scanned the list. His eyes slowed halfway down. "You've been busy. You've been comfortable." He leaned forward. "You're angry now. But that list, that's loyalty. That's history. That's evidence." His smile faltered. "Come on, Claire. Let's not turn this into a thing. It already is a thing." He stood. "You want credit? Fine. I'll mention your name next time." "I don't want your mentions. I want your space." He laughed once, short. "That's not how this works. It is now. You think you're the first smart woman to think she deserves more. No. But I'll be the first to take it without asking." His voice cooled. "Watch yourself." I stepped closer. "I've been watching you for 3 years." We stood in silence. "Just breath between us. You used me," I said. "Not because you had to, because it was easy. Everyone uses everyone." "Claire, no. You use people. I build." He stepped back. "You've got sharp edges tonight. I'm just finally done sanding them down for your comfort." He walked toward the door. "You really think you can flip the system?" "I don't have to flip it. I just have to outlast you." He opened the door, then paused. "Careful, Claire. People who make lists usually end up alone. Then I'll have room to pin every name." The door clicked shut. I turned back to the screen. Added one more line. "Tonight, He came here to make sure. I stayed quiet, then I started a second list. What he doesn't know I know. And that one filled even faster. Enting it together. No. Global doesn't need to faces. I'm taking it. That's theft. He raised a brow. Company property. You work for me. You're abusing that. He shrugged. Welcome to senior strategy. You're a parasite and you're emotional. My voice dropped. Don't mistake quiet for weak. His eyes sharpened. Be smart. Claire, let this go. It's not worth your career. You think I care about a title. I think you care about survival. And right now, you're not playing smart. No, I said. I'm finally done playing. He stared at me. You want a war? I want my name on my work. Then earn the room. I built the room. His lips parted, but no sound came. I turned and walked out. In the elevator, I looked at my reflection. Steady, unshaken. My phone buzzed. Jasmine, you okay? I texted back, clearer than ever. I was at my desk when Jasmine walked in holding a printout like it had burned her fingers. Claire? She said, voice low. You need to see this. I took the paper. Slide deck. Global expansion pitch. My structure, my language. His name on the cover. When did this go out? Late last night. Timestamped 11:42 p.m. Sent directly to corporate. From Mark's assistant. But the file name was yours. CMONRO_Q3_expansion draft_V for .pptx. He didn't even rename it before swapping the title slide. I read through it, every line, every projection, word for word. How many people have seen this? Senior strategy group. Regional heads. Alan Greer was CCD. I exhaled once. Where is he now? Lunch meeting offsite. Back by 2, I stood. Get me Samantha Rhodes. Jasmine blinked. HR. Yes, now. Samantha's office was spare, no clutter. Just a stack of files, a plant, and a framed photo of a dog. She gestured for me to sit. I heard there was a concern, she said. He submitted my work as his own. Her expression didn't move. Can you clarify this deck? I handed it to her. I developed it over 6 weeks. Every forecast, every slide. He sent it in under his name. She flipped through it, scanning quickly. You have version history. Yes. Document metadata, original files, drafts. All timestamped in our shared drive. Any written correspondence with him about this project, several emails. I'll forward them. She nodded. Claire, you understand how sensitive this gets. I understand exactly. He's a VP. He's a thief. She looked up. I believe you. That stopped me. But belief doesn't trigger a process. She continued. Documentation does. If what you say checks out, I'll escalate. It will check out. I'll need to speak with legal. I'll wait. Claire, she said, voice gentler now. Are you sure you want to go down this road? I met her eyes. I'm already on it. Back in the hall, Jasmine caught up to me. What did she say? She'll escalate, quietly. Jasmine looked relieved, then hesitated. There's more. I turned. What? He's booked a trip next week, Singapore. He's presenting the deck in person. I stared at her. That flight was supposed to be yours, she added. I saw the draft itinerary 2 weeks ago. You were listed. Now it's just him and a junior associate from Ops. He hadn't even tried to hide it. Did you say the itinerary? I asked. Yes, send it to my inbox, Claire. I'm fine. She lowered her voice. He's going to burn you if this gets public. Then I'll make sure there's nothing left of him to light the match. She didn't speak for a second. Then quietly, I'm with you. I touched her shoulder. I know. That night, I sat on my balcony watching lights blink across the skyline. One file after another opened on my screen. Drafts, models, emails, changelogs. Every keystroke that proved he hadn't just stolen my work. He'd erased me from it. And now I had the proof. Asterisk. I watched his schedule before I touched mine. Weekly calls with ops. Twice monthly dinners. With procurement heads. Thursday lunches at Bravino with board-adjacent shadows. I built a timeline, color-coded in a spreadsheet no one would ever see. Then I requested a Friday off, flew to Boston, and walked into Victor Hall's office at 9 sharp. Claire Monroe, he said, standing. It's been a while. 7 years, I said. You still remember? You were the only intern who corrected my EBITDA model and proved it. I was also the only one who did your coffee runs for 2 months. He smiled and told me to my face they were beneath your education. I was right. Victor laughed, then gestured to the seat across from him. So why are you here? I'm watching a man burn something I built. He leaned forward. Mark. I nodded. He stole a proprietary expansion strategy I spent 6 weeks developing, claimed it as his own. Victor exhaled slowly. And you want information, perspective, discretion. You always were surgical. Still am. He leaned back. What are you planning? Nothing rash. That's not a no. I paused. You mentored him. and he learned how to survive, not how to lead, then you won't be surprised by what I'm about to show you. I slid a folder across the table, projections, metadata, the chain of theft. He read silently for a full minute. You kept receipts. I'm methodical. This is damning. It's also true. Victor closed the folder. What do you want me to do? Nothing public. Just answer one question. Go. If this came across your desk anonymous submission, clean sourcing, what would you do? I'd start internal review, quietly, then prepare to replace the liability. That's what I needed. He tapped the folder. This is surgical. But don't mistake precision for safety. He'll retaliate. He already has. I'm just not bleeding where he can see. Victor nodded slowly. And when it's time to act, I'll know. He watched me carefully. Claire, this will come with scars. I'm not afraid of them anymore. Back in the city, I read every clause in my contract, every bylaw in the governance code. I mapped policies around ethics, intellectual property, leadership transitions. Then I bookmarked one line buried in section 14. Material misrepresentation of proprietary contribution may constitute grounds for internal disciplinary review. I printed it, taped it to the inside of my notebook. Jasmine walked in as I highlighted the final line. You're quiet lately, she said. I'm building. What? Structure. For what? A fall. She paused. I looked at her. Whose else? She hesitated. Just promise me one thing, name it. That you won't play fair when fair stops working. I smiled. I stopped playing the minute he started erasing. She nodded. Then I'm in. I already knew she was. Anita Desai didn't like small talk, which made her perfect. I reviewed the ledgers, she said, sliding a folder across the desk. Line 82, expense code marked conference catering. Twice, same vendor, I asked, same day. 2 invoices, same timestamp, intentional. Duplication, sloppy laundering, she said. Or arrogance. I opened the folder. Did it go through compliance? No. Routed straight through Mark's discretionary fund. Total amount, $14,900, just under the auto flag limit. I looked at her. You think this is the only one? No. She said flatly. It's just the first one I'm letting you see. I smiled. You don't trust me yet. I don't trust easily. Good. Neither do I. We met again 2 days later, in a file room no one used anymore. Anita handed me a second folder. Vendor S9G. Contracts as strategic consultancy. I traced it. No registered firm, no deliverables, no site visits. Fake shell. Shell's real. Services aren't. Where does the money go? Wire transfers to an account in Dubai. Then gone. I flipped pages. Mark's signature appeared 5 times. He buried this under international operations. Anita nodded. You didn't hear that from me. I didn't, I said. But I'll remember who showed me. She adjusted her glasses. Why are you doing this, Claire? Because he said I was replaceable. That's petty. No, it's surgical. She studied me a moment. You're not the first to come to me with suspicions. But I'm the first who brought proof. Anita didn't deny it. You have a window. A small one. You want him out. I want the foundation gone, not just the face. That'll take more than expense reports. I'm counting on it. She hesitated. You'll need board-level leverage. I'm building it. She gave a single nod. Then I'll keep digging. Back at my desk, I opened the files again. Expense logs, contract codes. Approvals bypassed through systems only Mark had override access to. Claire. I looked up. Jasmine stepped in. Quiet. You're going to want to see this. She handed me a manila envelope. No sender, no markings. I opened it. A single document. An unfiled draft from legal. Proposed payout structure. Singapore initiative. Mark's name. Primary beneficiary of undisclosed commission. I stared at it. How did you get this? I asked. Jasmine just said. Call it karma. I folded the paper. No, this is proof, and the fault lines were starting to show. The compliance portal didn't ask for a name, just a timestamp supporting files. And the nature of the concern. I submitted the vendor contracts, the duplicate expenses, the offshore payout structure, all with a brief note, flagged inconsistencies. Across discretionary funds and international vendor accounts, multiple instances. Suggest internal audit. Then I closed the tab. The war room meeting was called 48 hours later. Mark walked in late, as always, tie slightly loose, face relaxed. He didn't notice that everyone else was already seated. Alan Greer, board chair, was at the head. Samantha sat beside him, legal, finance, ops, HR. I kept to the far corner, quiet. Mark took a seat. Didn't realize this was formal. Alan didn't look amused. Sit down. Mark's smile faded a millimeter. Sure. Samantha opened a folder. We've received a compliance inquiry. Anonymous. Mark blinked. About what? Discretionary spending. Vendor relationships. Contractual irregularities. Offshore. Wires. Seriously. We're reviewing all expense submissions under your department, she continued. Effective immediately, Mark laughed once. That's a lot of smoke for nothing, Anita spoke next. Her voice was crisp. The vendor S9G Strategic Consultancy, no delivery logs, no registered operations. Funded 3 times over to quarters. Mark turned to her. That went through procurement. No. She said. It went through you. You bypassed procurement. Using executive override, he opened his mouth, then closed it. Alan slid a sheet forward. This is a breakdown of duplicated catering expenses marked under the same timestamp. Mark looked at it. That was a clerical error. Twice, I didn't process those personally. Samantha folded her hands. You approved them, he exhaled, trying to laugh again. This is ridiculous. You're blowing up a few spreadsheets? Anita, they weren't flagged until now. Because the amounts were kept just under the compliance threshold, that's a pattern. He looked at her, jaw tight. You're reaching. Alan's voice cut in. We're not here to argue semantics. You'll be placed on internal audit review. Effective today. Your travel for Singapore is postponed. Mark's eyes narrowed. Already booked. It's cancelled. He looked around the room. And no one thought to speak to me directly. First, compliance doesn't ask for permission, Anita said. He looked at Samantha. You believe this garbage. We don't need belief, she replied. We have receipts. Silence stretched out. He turned to me then. Claire. I met his eyes. Yes? You had nothing to do with this. I tilted my head. You think I run compliance? He stared at me, a flicker of calculation replacing charm. No, he said slowly. But you're good at knives that don't leave fingerprints. I build models, Mark. You sign them. Alan stood. We're done here. A formal audit begins tomorrow. We expect full cooperation. The room emptied. Mark stayed seated, gripping the edge of the table. I walked past him, steady. He said, You'll regret this. I stopped at the door. You already do. Then I walked out and the first domino fell. Asterisk, 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 Claire. His voice was tight, strained, already unraveling. Close the door. I stepped in and shut it behind me. He didn't look up from his laptop. I need you to run projections on the S9G contracts. Find the cleanest version. I'll present it Friday. Which version do you want me to clean? The one with the ghost. Invoices or the one routed through Dubai? He looked up. Don't start. I'm not starting. I'm finishing. He rubbed his temples. Jesus, just fix the numbers. Which ones? He stood. All of them. Be specific. You're not helping. I'm not supposed to. He moved around the desk, lowered his voice. We both know how this works. You fix, I frame. That's the play. I took out my notebook. Frame it for me again. You run a full audit mock-up, smooth the vendor inconsistencies. Revise the expense logs to align with legit approvals. And prep a clean story. I'll brief Elena. Elena already has the files. Direct from me. Silence. His eyes hardened. I flipped a page. Compliance has the S9G breakdown. Legal has the wire trails. HR has a timeline. You went around me. You left me behind. He stepped closer. You want to burn me down? I just stopped saving you. His tone dropped. Think this ends with a promotion? No. It ends with the truth. He leaned in. This is going to explode. I know. I lit the fuse. Elena's office was still when I arrived. Books lined the wall behind her, perfectly aligned. She looked up. Claire, said. I did. She folded her hands. I reviewed the files you sent and you're methodical, precise. Surgical. Did you find anything untrue? No. I waited, Elena, I said quietly. Why hasn't he been suspended? Politics, the board wants airtight grounds, not headlines. He's playing cleanup, you know that. That's why I'm talking to you. I met her gaze. I'm not covering for him anymore, she nodded. Good. I want a formal investigation with board oversight. You'll testify, yes. You understand the risk. I've carried his risk for 3 years. I know exactly what it weighs. Elena exhaled, then start documenting everything. Times, calls, files. I'll assign you proxy access to internal audit. I stood. Thank you. One more thing, she said. Why now? I paused at the door. Because silence isn't strategy anymore. And I left, already typing the next log. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. He was already seated when I walked in. No blazer, no smile. Just the flat-eyed look of a man who knew the room had turned against him. And still hoped to talk it back. Claire, he said, motioning to the chair across from him. I'm assuming this isn't about projections. No, I said, sitting. It's about consequences. He gave a dry laugh. You're still upset, that's fair. I mishandled the optics. You falsified approvals, rerouted contract funds, claimed my work. I signed off on the strategy because it needed authority. That's not theft. I placed a folder on the table. 3 versions of the pitch deck, each saved under my name with time-stamped edits. An email chain between you and Jasmine removing my attribution. And the expense reports Anita flagged. You want more? He stared at the folder without touching it. You went to The board, I went to Alan Greer last night. Mark's jaw locked. You're bluffing. No. I leaned forward. I copied him. I sent the files. I requested a closed-door review. His fingers twitched once. That's a career ender, Claire. Who's, you think the board's going to take your side over mine? I think they've been waiting for an excuse. He smirked. But it didn't hold. You don't have the pull. I don't need pull. I have proof. He stood. Pacing now. You think you're clean. You worked under me. Everything I signed. You reviewed. I did. Which is why my audit logs show when I red flagged the Dubai wire you overwrote it twice. You're trying to destroy me. I'm not trying, I said. I already have. He froze. You'll walk away from this unscathed. I already did. A knocked out Alan Greer stepped in. Composed as always. Am I interrupting? Mark turned. Alan. This isn't. Alan raised a hand. I read the submission. Thorough, quiet, and timely. Mark's voice cracked. You're taking her word over mine. No, Alan said. I'm taking the paper trail. Your name's all over it. She's manipulating this. She's cleaning up your mess. Alan looked at me. Claire, you'll attend the executive session this afternoon. I nodded. Understood. Mark stepped forward. Alan, listen to me. Alan didn't. You'll be asked to step aside, effective immediately. You'll receive official notice within the hour. Mark sank back into his chair. Alan turned to go. Then paused. Claire, well done. He left up. Mark looked at me, smaller than I'd ever seen him. You planned this? No, I said. You did. I just kept the receipts. I walked out without closing the door behind me. I didn't watch them escort him out. I didn't need to. The headline arrived first. VP of Strategy steps down amid internal review. Clean, professional, bloodless. Inside the building. It was quieter than usual. Alan gestured to the empty seat beside him. Sit, Claire. Let's talk structure. I sat. Timeline. We'll announce interim leadership by Monday. I want stability before the next board call. Who's on your list? You? I blinked. That's fast. Not really. I've been watching your work since Milan. Then you saw the cover-ups, too. I saw a pattern. He said. But I needed someone brave enough to break it. I didn't do it for a promotion, I know. That's why you'll get one. I stayed quiet. Alan leaned back. You have support, legal, audit, ops. They all cited your leadership during the review. They cited my paperwork. They cited precision. Control, calm under pressure, and Mark? He shrugged, accepted. The terms, clean departure, severance locked. Even after all that, quiet exits save louder wars. He'll land somewhere. Eventually, Alan said. But not soon. Not in this town. I nodded. You'll be interim for now. He continued, same title, expanded access, keep the team focused. Any guardrails? You know the limits, but you've earned discretion. He closed the folder in front of him. Final question. You ready to lead? I've been leading. This just puts my name on it. He smiled faintly. Good answer. Outside the conference room, Jasmine was waiting. He's gone, she asked. Yes, they really walked him out. Elena did, quietly. Jasmine looked away. I thought it would feel bigger. It doesn't have to. She watched me for a second. You're in charge. Now, interim, still counts. I didn't respond. She tilted her head. You okay? I'm aligned. With what? With what's next. She nodded slowly. Then I'm with you. Wherever this goes. I know. I walked past her. The floor settling beneath my feet in a way it hadn't for a long time. And for once, the silence didn't belong to him. It belonged to me. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The office lights were dimmed. The floor mostly empty. I stood at the window, watching the city slow down. Jasmine's voice broke the quiet. They're gone. I didn't turn. Who? Legal, Alan, press liaisons. They wrapped the debrief an hour ago. Good? She walked closer. You? Didn't say anything during the recap. There wasn't anything left to say. You're allowed to feel something. I do. What is it? I turned, tired. She studied me. Not proud. I didn't come here to win. I came to work. I spent 3 years doing both. Jasmine leaned on the edge of the desk. He never said thank you. He never needed to. I wasn't working for gratitude. But you wanted his respect. No, I said. I wanted mine. She looked down. You have it. I sat. When he first offered me that strategy role, he said I reminded him of himself. I remember. I thought it was a compliment. It wasn't. I know that now. She hesitated. Do you regret it? I shook my head. I regret nothing. I just feel the absence of what I gave. Jasmine was quiet a moment. So what happens next? I lead, I rebuild trust, I set standards, and you sleep eventually. She stood. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Jasmine. The door clicked behind her. I stared at the desk, the chair, the silence. I didn't miss him. What I missed was a version of me that believed I had to prove anything to someone like him. That version was gone. And I wasn't warning her. I was done carrying what wasn't mine. Asterisk, 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 the envelope sat untouched. On my desk, my name embossed on the flap. Alan had handed it to me himself. 24 hours. He'd said, no pressure. But don't take longer. Now the clock ticked slow and loud. Jasmine leaned against the doorframe. Well, I haven't opened it. You don't need to. We both know what's inside. That's not the point. She stepped in. Then what is? I don't want to walk in wearing his shoes, Claire. No one thinks you're him, no. But this office does, then change what it means. I looked at her. Would you follow me? I already have. That's not the same. She crossed her arms. You're scared this makes you him. I'm scared it makes me need what he did. Jasmine shook her head. You earned this. Every late night. Every number you ran while he took credit. I didn't do this for the title. No. You did it because he broke things and you knew how to fix them. Now you get to decide what doesn't break again. I was quiet. She took a breath. Claire, say yes. Or someone else will. And they won't have your spine. I opened the envelope inside. A letter, terms, salary, interim dropped VP of strategy, official. I signed. The next morning, the staff meeting began with Alan at the head. He cleared his throat. Most of you know the transition underway. What you don't know is how we got here. Claire Monroe saw what others missed or refused to see, and she acted, quietly, intelligently, without ego. That's why she's sitting here now. He turned to me. Claire. I stood. The room stilled. I'm not going to fill someone else's space, I said. I'm going to build my own. If you're with me, we'll do better. If you're not, step aside. Silence. Then a nod, another dot. Then Jasmine smiled and the room shifted. Not for him, for me. Asterisk. The elevator opened onto 12, floor quiet, air. Still, his cologne was gone from the hallway. I walked past the glass wall, where he used to stand before meetings, rehearsing his smile. No one looked up as I entered the conference room. That was new. Jasmine nodded from her seat near the projector. They're ready. I'm not here for them to be ready. She smiled faintly. That's what I meant. I took the chair at the head, his chair. My chair now. I opened the binder. Flipped past the summary slides. Let's begin, Victor's voice came through the speakerphone. Morning, Claire. Morning. Solid numbers in the Q3 preview. Sharp pivots. They're not pivots, I said. They're realignments. We're not reacting anymore. Noted. Elena tapped her pen. Any risk on Singapore residuals already reconciled, contracts pulled, compliance cleared. No exposure remains. Alan nodded. Clearer than anything we had last year. Because I didn't filter it. A pause, then Alan leaned back. What's your proposal moving forward? I closed the binder. We lead with transparency. No more padded decks, no more vanished names. Everyone at this table builds what they sign. Or they don't sign it at all. Jasmine tilted her head. And the culture, we rewrite it brick by brick. Victor said, that'll make enemies. I've had worse. Alan looked around. Anyone object? No one spoke. He folded his hands. Then it's yours. Afterward, they filed out nods, brief glances. One whispered congrats. I stayed behind. Jasmine lingered. It felt different. It was. You don't sound excited. I'm calm to calm. No, I said. Exactly calm enough. She hesitated. Do you miss him? I looked at the sunlight on the glass table. He never really existed. Just the noise around him. And you? I'm real now. She smiled. You've always been. No, I said, standing. I've always been becoming. And I walked out not as the one who replaced him, but as the one who never needed to. Asterisk.